Get up, get ready. Stay in your pajamas, grab some cereal, get comfy because we have another at-home edition of World of Fortnite for you. I'm your host, Sarah Pookie Facelin, and we have a great show for you today. We're looking at Save the World traps in the rotation. Point of Interest takes a peek at the latest Batman and 0 Point crossover issue, and of course, we have everything the community is passing around in Low Ground. You may or may not have already heard, but Epic and Apple are currently duking it out in court. I know, it's kind of boring, but there are some interesting things that we're learning because of this lawsuit. Court documents have been revealed, which indicate that Epic is working on an open world mode. There's already speculation that it would be somewhat a cross between Minecraft and GTA 5. Obviously, we won't know for sure until there's an official announcement from Epic, but it's certainly interesting nonetheless. And up next, we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 traps from Save the World in the rotation. Fortnite Save the World adds an interesting element to tower defense games. Traps. Fortnite's traps can be placed on walls, floors, ceilings, and even ramps, and each have their own specialty. Some can damage or disorient husks, some can fling them away, and some can even make them dance like you just chucked a boogie bomb on them. These traps can also work in synergy if you pair them right, such as using freeze traps to make enemies vulnerable and adding damage to traps to then deal more damage. The right combination of traps can easily build a fort that can defend itself, where players don't even need to shoot. Today, we'll be taking you through 5 of the best traps in Save the World and the best ways to use them. Number 5 on our list is the launcher traps. There are 2 types of launchers, floor and wall launchers. As the name suggests, floor launchers are placed on the floor and launch enemies upward, while wall launchers go on the walls and push enemies against them. When used correctly, these are some of the most satisfying traps to watch in action. They are especially useful if your objective is near the edge of the map, where you can fling enemies off the map and into the abyss. You can combine the floor launcher with ramps on top to essentially create a double wall launcher effect. If the objective is away from the sides of the map, you can still use them to stall enemies by pushing them away from the base. These traps used to be top tier when they worked on mist monsters as well, but unfortunately, Epic nerfed them and now they only work on selective husks. At number 4, we have the sound wall. This is probably the most fun trap we have in the game. Remember the boogie bomb from Battle Royale? This trap is that, but in the form of a wall attachment. The sound wall makes husks dance and stuns mist monsters, making it one of the best ways to stall enemies. The husks follow the same dance that players in Battle Royale do if you throw a boogie bomb at them. This trap has become a staple in jail builds, a category of forts that rely on keeping enemies away from the base just by stalling them without dealing any damage. Since the first wave of husks is never damaged, the second wave never spawns. Sound walls can let you stall enemies endlessly if you box them in and set traps all around them, and easily outclass the wall lights that simply stun enemies for a few seconds. Number 3 on our list is the gas trap. This is a pure damage-based trap that creates a gas cloud that deals damage to all enemies that walk through it. Moreover, enemies subjected to this gas cloud are also dealt affliction damage over the next few seconds, meaning the enemies get extra damage ticks even after they've walked away from the trap. This is the best AoE trap and a staple one for high-level trap tunnels. It may not stall enemies, but it can deal a lot of damage to a bunch of enemies that walk through it. Gas traps pair well with freeze traps. Once enemies are frozen and left more vulnerable, the gas traps can even do more damage to them over time. This trap is definitely a winner for damage builds. At number 2, we have drop traps. These are a great way to damage and disorient enemies at the same time. Disorienting them isn't useful just to buy time, it's also a great counter to blasters and riot shielders. The tires can stop the blasters from shooting lasers and put the riot shielders in a vulnerable position by toppling them over. These two being some of the most annoying enemies in the game makes this trap a must-have for high-level missions. If you place them above a slope, they can also send husks sliding down the slope. Another great advantage of such traps is that you can place them 3 tiles above ground level and they'll still work really well. This means that propane tanks going off under the trap tunnels won't have an explosion radius large enough to do damage and break the traps. Our number 1 spot is shared by the tar trap and the freeze trap. It's hard to compare these traps because they're so similar yet so different. Both of these are floor traps. Both traps hold enemies that walk on it for a few seconds. However, the freeze trap completely immobilizes enemies and makes them vulnerable to damage while they're frozen. On the other hand, the tar trap is specifically a fire-based trap. Once enemies are trapped on its surface, you can shoot the trap to set them on fire. This is specifically useful in high-level twine missions where nature husks are everywhere and fire is the best element to use against them. The freeze trap is most useful in jail builds for freezing enemies and keeping them away from base, while the tar traps are better in damage builds. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Playing with Pooks. So this week what I thought I would do is run through some of the new NPCs and where you can find them. So we're not gonna have time obviously to do every single one of them today. I think I'm gonna focus on going to the one that is located, I believe he's right here. Stage Slayer? Is this Slash? Talk to him. Ooh, he gave me shield potions. So that's another interesting thing about these new NPCs is that as soon as you talk to them, they give you something. I'm gonna deal damage this match. But you know what? We're also gonna hire him. He seems like a helpful guy. Okay, apparently. This might not be good. Just kidding! Anonymous 357 got absolutely bodied by Guitar Man, and just like that, we have 108 of our 200 damage required for some gold bars. This is Cluck. You. Cluck, you're coming with me, buddy. No! I was too slow. All right, let's start north of the John Wick house. Tomato head! Oh, triggerfish. He looks so mad. I called him by the wrong name. Ooh, thank you. All right, pump shotgun legendary. Let's go. We have to get into the gas station. It's also the most efficient way to have some kind of horrible accident. Oh, a ghost. Aww. He's playing all by his lonesome. Oh, goodness. Whoa! No! Fall damage! Why? Sad boy Sammy. Jules! What's up, girl? Please fish me up a shotgun. Not quite, but we'll take it. Oh, there is a boat. Oh, wee! Nailed it. Oh boy. Here. Slurp Jonesy. What's up? Chug Cannon. Okay, so he sells the Chug Cannon. I've never been more toast than I am. Okay, relax. Sir, I had you pinned in there. I didn't have a shotgun. You went and hid. You had a pump. Is it really worth dancing over? I don't know. Anyway, guys, so we discovered a few new NPCs. That's pretty neat. We hired a couple. Apparently I just got the Lara Croft skin, which is kind of cool too. So thank you for coming with me along on my NPC journey. Ton of new content in terms of NPCs, Chapter 2, Season 6. Hopefully you enjoyed this edition of Playing with Pooks, and I will see you in the next one.
Ma questo diciamo lo cazzo io.
Non c'è più, fa uno dei miei.
Guarda che schifo.
Mamma mia, come se n'è andato a giocare!
Allez Mush, si tu veux faire rêver ton public, si tu veux faire vibrer les gens, c'est maintenant. La POV lag un peu, hein. C'est peut-être dû à nos petites manies pour le classement. Mush, ouais, si tu veux nous faire rêver, c'est maintenant. Mush, ça peut jouer une balle. Il a pas de shield, il a pas de point de vie, de toute façon dans tous les cas c'est la balle de pompe. C'est la balle de pompe, Mush, ouais. Et en plus la réanimation derrière, Biscotte des TF senior.
Really good match, really good match.
Oh my god.
You're chilling it, really good match. He's weak, he might have to like... You're so...
This kid is so good.
Nah, bro.
Boom!
Oh my god!
I have to admit, I love watching hot drops and then trying to recreate some of those plays later on in game. However, the results usually look a little bit more like low ground in my case. First up, Pricey Toaster says people call them smart. I have to say, I applaud the effort, but I'm a little bit upset with the results. Welcome to low ground, I guess. Next up, Guardian 1K says there's room for one more. With all of you right now, if I walked in to that creepy bunny costume in an actual porta potty, I might relieve myself outside of the porta potty before I get inside, if you know what I'm saying. But moving on, Melgore _ confuses Fortnite for Grand Theft Auto. I have to be honest, at that point, I don't even think I'd be upset. I would just genuinely be impressed. But next up, CMRN LOL wants to know, you mad, bro? I'm gonna weigh in on this one and speak for the victim of the one pump and say if you're editing walls this fast, you're probably mad. But finally, Skooma Cat puts a Fortnite spin on a cartoon classic. Disney, please. Don't sue us. There are enough open lawsuits right now regarding Fortnite as it is. But moving on, Point of Interest goes over issue number 2 of the Batman 0 Point crossover. Fortnite's second issue of the Batman 0 Point crossover comic series is out, and today we'll be taking you through everything that's happened in it so far. In the last issue, we saw how Batman followed Harley Quinn into a rift that appeared in Gotham City. He then found himself in the Loop, which is the repetitive cycle of Battle Royale matches. Catwoman also happened to be there for an unknown reason, and while both of them had lost their memories as a side effect of interdimensional travel, they could still feel an old sense of familiarity with each other. If you missed out on our detailed explanation of the first issue, be sure to check it out on our YouTube channel. The second issue begins with Batman still being in the Loop, but in another match. He seems to be near Weeping Woods, but the bridge isn't primal themed, meaning this is supposed to happen in another season. Batman notices something scribbled on his arms. At some point, he has realized that he is in an endless cycle and has decided to break free by writing notes for himself, including a set of coordinates. He has to do that as he loses his memory between matches. Everyone else in the Loop is also experiencing the same thing as him: memory loss and being forced to fight in order to survive. He finds a place he has visited in the past, a place riddled with notes left by his past self. Here, the most recent note he has left for himself is about a cat. Apparently, his past self wants him to find someone at the given set of coordinates. Batman immediately leaves the shed and goes out looking for the cat. I know what you're thinking. Is he going to find Meowscles? Well, he does find our Fortnite cat in the middle of a battle, but quickly concludes that that must not be the cat he's looking for. However, Catwoman is engaged in the same battle. Batman senses that this is the person he's looking for. We've also seen in the previous issue how he senses something about her, and having those feelings intact even after several iterations of the Loop is a sign that while he is losing his memory between iterations, he is not losing his emotions. Since Catwoman also doesn't remember anything, she tries to fight Batman. The storm is coming, and Batman needs to get her on the same page if they're going to escape the Loop. He shows her the words, "The bat is your friend," written on a batarang in her own handwriting. He hands her the batarang and the match ends. In the next match, Batman heads out to the same location. Just as he's wondering how he will find Catwoman again, she appears with the batarang. Together, they start scouting the island to look for ways to escape. First, they try to take a boat, only to realize that the island is surrounded by the storm. And according to their notes, the storm will reset everything. They dive underwater and go around looking for a possible escape route. Batman also mentions the possibility of an escape hatch. Unfortunately, he's looking for it up north. We have an escape hatch on the island. Remember the underwater bunker to the west of Holly Hedges? Batman is wondering how he is able to maintain such a friendly relationship with Catwoman. How is it so so easy for him to convince her to go along. Right as he is wondering that, someone eliminates Catwoman. He battles her killers, knowing that she will be back in the next iteration of the loop and realizing that feelings do carry over in between iterations. In the next iteration, the duo visit Steamy Stacks and find Harley Quinn. Just like he senses with Catwoman, Batman senses some familiarity with her as well. He tries convincing her the same way he convinced Catwoman, but fails. As he is dying to the storm, he notes down that there is something very coordinated about the storm circles and decides to look into it the next time. He carefully analyzes the nature of the storm and decides to perform some experiments on it. He tests the storm by placing an object at its center. His analyzer successfully passes the test. However, this only seems to apply to objects, as Batman and Catwoman can't survive the storm by standing at its center. Next, he decides to try the same thing but with just one person. He succeeds, realizing that one person can win the match. After a lot of discussion, they decide that it will be Catwoman, and she will have to eliminate him to be the winner of the match. As that happens, their feelings for each other begin to catch on. Batman gets eliminated and travels to the next iteration of the loop. The issue ends as he wakes up in the next match, again with no idea of what's going on. As always, a hostile Battle Royale player is pursuing him. What will happen in the next issue of the Batman 0 Point crossover comic series? I don't know about you, but I certainly can't wait to find out. Of course, we get Batman and Catwoman sort of teaming up, but how about finding out that emotions carry over from game to game? Well, I guess that makes sense considering all of the toxicity. That about does it for me, but for more of our content, check out our YouTube and Twitter channels at Squad State. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, here is our Victory Royale with cheese.